Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. Today we're going to be looking at a piece by the artist Diffusion Dreams, and Dreams is actually a software engineer who also delves in the world of digital art. In this piece, we're going to be talking about kind of the commandment of the viewer's energy or attention through center placement. We're going to talk about radiating visual energy, and we're also going to talk about the divine, which is desired during the darkest of days. So let's jump right into it. So in your initial introduction, you're likely caught by just first off, I saw that this was a near-symmetrical spatial composition, so notice how our main subject just commands the center region to the highest degree possible. And that really calls our attention there quite masterfully. And what you'll see here, of course, is that near-symmetrical spatial composition. And near symmetry always gives us tones of balance, harmony, and everything in between. So a really ordered spatial composition here. And there's this unique juxtaposition because even though we see this kind of near symmetry here and a kind of harmonious placement within the spatial composition, there's also quite a bit of kind of radiating visual energy. We'll talk about that here in a bit. So what you'll also notice is just how wide the wingspan of our subject here is. And that really sets the tone for such a wide canvas and that wide digital spatial composition. And so this grand sense of scale also kind of feels divine in that same sense. If you've ever walked into, say, a kind of like a Gothic cathedral, you see those really high ceilings, and that grand sense of scale really denotes the divine to the densest degree possible. So next we're going to talk about kind of the radiating visual energy we see within this piece. And it's actually quite characteristic of AI generated art in general. And there's kind of that painterly flow and that painterly texture that really permeates almost every piece that AI generates. And much more newer designs and iterations such as DALL-E has removed a lot of that painterly flow. But I think what's mostly important is just if you see something like this, you can almost always guess that the work is generated by an AI. So this piece, like we said, you have that grand sense of scale. The wings just extend so far to either side. And there's that really kind of brilliant golden light which really emanates from that as well. And these also give you this unique sense of texture, right? So many layerings of the wings here, and those feathers just kind of layer over one another as well. And what I also wanted to say is that there's this stunning contrast with this light on dark placement. What we see is this really kind of dark, misty, hazy atmosphere, and then our center subject just commands that with this stunning, stunning light. So that really emphasizes the subject's form to the highest degree possible. So like I said, you see this radiating visual energy, and that's quite characteristic of some of the AI art that we're seeing nowadays. And it's quite interesting because not only does this energy kind of show us just how divine or spiritual this figure is, but it also gives the piece a sense of visual energy. And this energy is, of course, incredibly energetic. And that really invigorates the viewer as they're seeing this work, as every single part of this piece is not really a straight line, but kind of this ebb and flow of these constant curves. And if you're someone who's looked at art quite a bit, you know that the curves always denote motion. See, we have curves even here with the wing up, but we also have curves kind of radiating off of the halo of our main subject here, of that main area. So all of those together really give a sense of motion, and then of course the visual energy which results from that. So I think that's also important whenever taking a look at this work. So you also see this kind of white and blue disc which stands behind the head of our main subject. And this, of course, is the ancient Nimbus, also known as the halo. And what you'll see is that the AI shows a much more traditional depiction of the halo, which is a 2D disc kind of standing behind the head or the source of consciousness of the subject. And this really shows that this character is kind of the chosen one, or the chosen one by a higher divine degree. And the halo originated, at least in solid artistic symbolism form. We see that it originated around the 300s BCE in the Persian Empire. And it's quite likely that it originated way before that, because we always start with, say, oral storytelling, that kind of folklore around the fire. So the first really concrete symbolism that we can see of the Nimbus came about 300 BCE, but it's quite likely that it originated even further than that. And what you'll see here is that the halo or the Nimbus also acts as the source which radiates that aforementioned visual energy. And then I think that's also really important to note. That all adds to the piece here. Just notice the amount of vibrancy and even the diverse color within this piece. It's stunning. It's stunning. And you see that golden light is really what drives the visual energy of this piece alongside that radiating energy, which just flows throughout every pixel of the spatial composition. And lastly, we're going to talk about, say, Divinity and Darkness. So what you'll see is that, as we said before, we have that golden, that stunning golden dark, that gold on dark contrast. So, of course, a light on dark contrast. But it's quite important, say, if you're going through a tough time in life or you're going through, say, some... Oh. Gotta love VR glitches. So if you're ever going through a tough time in life and you need some light, it's important to place yourself next to a good piece of art, or place yourself with some type of routine or some type of, kind of cultural tradition. And that really gives you a light in the darkness, some type of ideal to follow, so that you're kind of you're not just wandering through the darkness aimlessly. And I think that source of light or that source of meaning is really what we need nowadays, especially if you're going through a tough time in life. And so in this piece, I really see that divine character that can be summoned during the darkest of days to really keep you moving forward and to keep you focused, so that, we don't get engulfed by, say, life's anxieties or the tragedy of life. So I think that's also really important to know. See, I'm actually moving right now, and the room that I'm standing in is actually a new room, so it's quite exciting, but it's filled with a bunch of stuff, and we have, so much to do, so much to move. And I actually showcased this piece on the day that I did move, and it really just, it helped me stay focused, and it helped me kind of lift the anxious kind of burden of all the stress, and it really just helped me de-stress and gave me a pretty good lesson on that divinity during the darkest days. So always remember to follow the light, and of course always remember to have this kind of higher vision or a higher goal or a higher ideal that's always bigger than yourself. So that really keeps you motivated, and it really keeps you going, especially during the darkest of days. So I hope you guys enjoyed this piece. This piece came from, I believe it's Eno Reyes, and that is Diffusion Dreams. Like I said, he is a software developer, software engineer who also delves in the world of digital art. And you'll see that he has a really nice eye for curation. There's two other pieces that I'm also looking at, considering studying those. So if I do bring those into VR, I'll definitely put this one side by side to the other work, so we can kind of compare it and see just what he likes to look at in the world of AI art. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. Go check out some of Diffusion Dreams' other works. He does a ton of works, a lot of divine, but also dark works as well. So there's a great deal of diversity in his, I wouldn't say discography, but he's not a musician, in his gallery and his career work so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. We talked about the Divinity and Darkness. We talked about kind of this brilliant golden contrast and the center emphasis. We talked a little bit about near symmetry and the harmony from that. And we also talked about radiating visual energy, as well as the origin of the Nimbus or the halo. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.